Hey YouTube, this is Call Sign Rockstar again. Hey guys, we're just gonna do a recap on what we just accomplished. So everything went pretty well. Took a little bit to get used to. It's definitely good to have something to practice on. So let's take a look at what we did. So this was just an old 870 pistol grip that I had, and this was my first piece. This was my test dummy. So you can see up here I used the smaller one, just the dot method, more time consuming, but I think this one right here turned out really well. Down here, these right here were just some miscellaneous pieces that came with it, like this little guy right here, but those didn't turn out too well just because of the contour on the grip. Moving to a larger tip, looked around something like that, okay, and also tried doing a little bit of lines just to see how that would come out, just pretty much playing with it. But for the most part I like the smaller ones a little bit better. That was my preference. So what I did is I took our regular M16A2 style pistol grip for our AR-15, and what I did is I dremeled it down. It wouldn't fit the contour of my hand the best, even though I've been using these things for 5 years. There's still something about them that I really didn't like. First off, this little knob right here, when I grip the AR, you know, I want to get my my thumb and my index finger, that little, you know, Y, I want to get that as top as I can right here. But in doing that, it left this finger right here, this finger right here bottoming out on that little knob, which is very uncomfortable, okay? And then I mean, this thing's pretty just plain Jane. I never had a MAG-PUL style grip or ever changed out the grip. I've always used these A2 style grips. Maybe it's because tactical and practical thinking. I don't think spending $50 on just a grip, unless it's for a pistol, is worth the money. But now I have the opportunity to customize my grip exactly how I want it. So that's the first thing I did, was take this knob out, and it turned out pretty well. The second thing is how boxy this end is. So these corners right here on your AR, they typically stick out a little bit past the trigger well. And when you're gripping this and your finger's straighten off the trigger or your thumb's up here next to your safety, that corner right there will just sit there and it will dig into you. So what I did is I rounded these corners off a little bit. Second, my let's see, my middle finger right here, what I want to try to do, we'll use it with a gun. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to bevel this out more right here. Alright, this way when I get that grasp, this finger can be well tied up in there and still maintaining my hand up on top of that weapon. And then what I did is I just beveled out these a little bit more, so I got good good placement for each of my fingers. And then I took that bevel and I pulled it out just a little bit. Alright, and then once I got done doing that, I just sanded it down with my Dremel tool, just using my little attachments and sanders, playing around with it. Once I, you know, buffed it, or I grinded it down, I buffed it out. There's a little buffing piece that came in there, and then I used my little small technique and did that. I left this area right here, I don't know if you can see that, there you go. I left that clean and nice and smooth, just as my preference. One other thing I did, and this was just playing around with it, but I left this piece right here smooth, and you can see where I grinded down the old roughness part of it, but I left this smooth, buffed that out, and you know, I don't know, maybe just for design effects, but I think I'm going to fill that in. And then up here next to my trigger, because while I'm here, my thumb's going to be working the safety. I don't want to have a lot of friction between my thumb flopping that safety off, so I'm going to leave that clean just like it is. But that's what we did for our grip. For our magazines, you know, this is your standard PMag, and I was playing around with it, see which one worked the best. So what you got right here, If I can get that to focus, right there. All right, cool. So you see the polka dots, cool. You see the smaller dots. So the polka dots aren't bad. They offer good grip, texture to it. But the smaller dots, a bunch of them are definitely a lot better. Up here I got the larger ones. The larger ones definitely add the best grip, but stylish wise, I just don't think they look as good. That's just me, preferably. You know, most people prefer tactical over style, but you know, at the same time, this PMAX is highly tactical even without this. So you know what, I just went ahead with the smaller ones. That's me, that's my preference. Last but not least, with our Glock mags, pull up my mag here. I had this ready. So blue's marking live, so we know not to put that in our weapon. Alright, so here's my 13 round magazine. Here's my 22 round magazine. So my firearm is going to go all the way down right to that point to where you see. So now I got my work done to it, and it's going to look cool when it's inserted in my weapon. So right there, I can just insert that up there. Now look at that shit, it matches. It's pretty tight, right? But more tactical. While that thing's exposed out of my mag pouch, it's easier to grab. But that's pretty much all I did, and that was easily, guys, that was probably easily 4 or 5 hours worth of work. It takes a lot of time, and it's very time consuming, but almost well worth it, I have to say. But we'll see once we get out to the range. But that's it for now. Thanks, YouTube.